Hey guys, I'm back and I'm streaming some Asseto Corsa. I played I started earlier in the morning, but then I decided to actually go, cycle in real life. Not sure how long I'm gonna play or drive rather. It's not really a game, it's more like a simulator. Nürburgring. So last time we drove around on the Nürburgring with the Nissan 350Z, which was fun. It is this car, the 350Z Roadster, but it was a bit underpowered for the Nürburgring. I want to try the Audi R10, Audi R8 V10 Plus. It's kind of hard to drive though. Okay, let's go. First we make sure we have enough fuel for some good driving. Semi-slick, sure. 30 liters. Let's fill her up. Full gas. Let's see how much gas we can use before we inevitably will crash at some point. This is always hard if you haven't played in a while. You have to be really careful, like, to get the revs just right, how you want them. I'm gonna quickly mute my Steam here. Wait. I'm sorry, this... Do not disturb. My tablet, I can see my Steam. Wow, this car has a lot of power. That was like 10% throttle. The brakes in this car is the problem. That was like 5% brake pedal, and it already locks up the wheels. Like, how am I supposed to modulate the brakes if 5% already locks up the brakes? That was like 2% brake. And yeah, of course, the Audi has all-wheel drive. The brakes are so overpowered. Not in the sense that they stop you strongly, they just lock up really easily. And yeah, I've been playing some Beam and G on my handheld, on my MSI Claw. Beam and G, the driving physics is so bad. When you're used to this, it's so bad. You really just have to, like, give it a hint of brake, and that's all enough you need. It's just, you just need a hint of brake. Why I say this car is hard to drive? It's really stiff. It is very stiff, and the brake modulation is just... You need so much feeling for the brake. If you just mash it like this, you just get major lockup. I think this car has 500 horsepower, but it's not too overwhelming. It feels more like... Honestly, it feels more like 300. Up to like 100 kilometers an hour, 150 maybe. After that you can tell. No, maybe not 150, more like 110. Like at 110, 120, yeah, at 120 you can notice there's power. I think the rev, this car has a pretty high red line, and the gears are nice. The brakes, I think if they are warmed up, they work better. That's another hard thing about those cars. The brakes are not consistent. At first they're really locking up. They lock up quickly and easily, and now you see the brakes have settled in. They're much more usable now. But yeah, if you know that, you can deal with it. Throwing the car around. Just gotta warm up the car and myself. Fourth gear has no strong pull. Might as well be a 200 horsepower car at that point. Man, these carousel, they must be rough on the car. Okay, the electronics actually prevented me from downshifting there. Probably would have blown up the gearbox in a real car, so it's good that it protects you. And this is great. Great fun. With the Nissan, with the 350Z, you could really tell on the longer sections, and just in general, the car was just way underpowered for this long, fast circuit. You could. The free 370Z is nice. It is a really nice car. It's a real upgrade over the 350Z. Man, this car is quite thirsty on the fuel. 10 cylinders. I'm not sure how much displacement. I was really careful there. Could have gone a lot faster through that corner. Yeah, that I did that on purpose. The slidey. I wanted to see how it does. It's a bit understeery, that's for sure. Well, my friend on Steam wrote. Quickly check what he said. Test something. Imagine having to work the clutch in this car in real life. Like, look at how quickly it revs from 1k. Okay, you really need like a lot of feeling to get it smooth. Guess you need practice. If you compare this car to the Audi Quattro, the rally car, even with 3 tires on it, this car is just so much more refined. Where the Audi gives you like, it's so hard, not hard to drive necessarily, but so scary compared to this car. hit the floor pan of the car. This looks super slow, but 70 k's an hour is not slow. It's super fast actually. When are you gonna go in real life in your car if you drive around in traffic 70 k's an hour on a turn like that? I mean, you can do it, but which how effortless it is, it just shows that this is a really capable car. I mean, there's really no like really shitty cars in Asseto Corsa. Like the worst car in the game is if you exclude like weird little, like I'd say the most representative car of your average street car would be the E86 with 150 horsepower, but that's rear wheel drive, and it's not actually all that bad. It's decent. First gear is quite tall in this car, 90 k's an hour. I don't care about lap times right now. I'm just having fun. This course has so little tight turns. What can happen, a source of error, if you drive your car and you like try to lightly feather the brake and not brake too hard, you just end up not braking enough and you just ride straight into the barrier. That's what I meant. I almost went into the barrier there. It was kind of close. Wait a second. Okay. We lost about 1/4 of our fuel tank, something like that. Up this hill. Oh man, this is just awful for the car. Scraping all sorts of things. My hands are starting to get numb. It always happens if I drive. Had a little bit of a slidey action there. Going around this turn at full speed is a recipe to crash. It's just so scary. This time we didn't have this. I'm gonna check something here. All right. Tires are starting to cool down. We have been driving for a while and we still have more than half our fuel tank. This is great, considering we're slamming on the gas the whole time. We have done 3 laps. I know one lap is somewhere between 20 and 25 kilometers. 40, 50, 60, 65. We have done around 65 kilometers. I mean, 65 kilometers for a car is nothing. If you actually drive sensibly in an economical car, a 4-cylinder, maybe a diesel, you can easily go 600 kilometers. And we lost almost half our tank in 60 kilometers. But then again, we're putting down constantly, like in relatively long bursts, up to 500 horsepower all the time, versus most cars that can not even hit 200 horsepower in a full power kick down. And how often are you doing that realistically in traffic? Not that often. This is a tricky corner. You can easily mess this up. The brake zone is short. Same here. I like that the sound actually changes when you're walled in or in a tunnel. I'm gonna quickly check my Steam right now and stop here. Alright. Honestly, for like everyday driving, it is nimble and it's not overpowered. It's a nice car. It's stiff and responsive, but not so much so that it's hard to drive everyday driving. Of course, in the rain and in the snow specifically, you wouldn't want to drive a car like this, obviously. But I think in the snow, every kind of car is gonna be hard to drive. You need experience. With bicycle, I don't even bother anymore. I see snow, I'm like, nope, I'm walking. The brakes have resetted, they have cooled down, which means they're really finicky again. Tires also have cooled down to some extent. And this car makes short work of this track. We'll reach about 50% fuel capacity now. Ah, it's trying something right there. Almost didn't work out. This is the point where I have to be really careful. Usually when I start to play around and not play around necessarily, but when I get tired and I just start to get this monotonous driving, I always start to make mistakes. So we go a little easy here. Rest a little. The thing is, if you drive, you have to stay sensitive to all the things that the car does on the road. And if you just try to automate it in your head, you will mess up. To stay responsive. I wonder what the tires of this car, what they cost. It's not only just the fuel. Sure, a full tank of fuel is expensive, but imagine we almost used I would say 1/5 or something like that of our tires. It's gonna be a lot more expensive than the fuel. I'm gonna take a short break after this corner. To see. What was that sound? Was it my chair? I would say if you want a daily or if you want to just drive around somewhere, IRL, not racing, you really want to keep it below 5,000. Or between 4 and 6,000, something like that. After that it becomes crazy loud. If you keep it at like 3, but you would keep another car you might want to keep it at 3 or 4. But this car, it's not made for that. And the brakes now, it feels really nice and responsive if you drive slow around. At the top end, it's... Maybe the brakes are warm, I don't know. Sometimes they're really grabby and lock up the wheels easy. Okay, this has 7 gears. Short past 5 we shift. Imagine like this would be the Autobahn. You wouldn't give it full throttle and at the Autobahn the whole time. You'd have it at like this. Like this. It's happier in 6th gear though, at 200. 4,000 is just not high enough for this car. Doesn't sound happy. to get it nice and comfortable in the RPMs. Not quite sure what 7th gear's for. The car clearly doesn't have enough power to make good use of 7th gear. Gonna park here real quick. Maybe not. We are actually on a lap that is uninterrupted. We could finish it. Get a 911. Nine. Bit of understeering action right there. Curious if I can manage it under 10 under 9. I need to make up 8 seconds. Bruh, that's not gonna happen. You're almost done. Nine eight. Okay. We have been driving for an hour. Or tires or Since we're not going for the fastest possible time, might as well go around this annoying carousel. I feel like, I'm not sure, but I feel like the ECU in the car only gives full torque to the engine sometimes, at like specific situations. Sometimes the car feels like it has tons of power. But then other times it doesn't do anything. It might be the way the engine is constructed, the physical analog dimensions. But it could also be that the ECU only... Look at this, this was 4th gear pull. Yeah, I know it's down a hill, but still. Same now. We have tons of power. And now it's like same gear, it doesn't feel like there's any power. Again, I'm just spitballing thoughts essentially. But I noticed this many times with many cars. Sometimes you give it a kick down and it really kicks. And other times in the same gear it's just meh. And I wouldn't be surprised because the idea behind that thought was, you know how you can ECU tune your car? Where you essentially leave everything the way it is, but you just change the ECU settings and it makes like a decent deal more power just by changing like the computer. The same way you can kind of overclock a computer and it makes more power, even though nothing physically has changed. That might be the case, but I'm not sure on that. Yeah, man, we have been driving for an hour. I didn't crash even once. Feel a bit proud. What am I gonna do now? Okay, we almost emptied the fuel tank. It's 1/3, maybe 1/4 or 1/5 actually left. Our tires, or especially the rear tires, are really worn. I'ma consider if I drive some more. See you in a bit. Okay, guys, I'm back. Annoying fruit fly. Yeah, I've been driving for a long time for my standard. I could play Witcher. Maybe some nighttime Witcher would be nice, but I have this tendency to get sleepy really quickly. Yeah, you can feel now the tires in the rear are not only cold but worn out. Can definitely feel that. Yeah, the rear gets slidey now. Let me think. But Witcher 3, we just finished a long quest. And the next quest is also gonna be a long quest. I'm not sure if I want to do that. Oh bro, I need new tires. These tires are now... They're not only cold, but you can really feel the difference. But it's interesting, the tires lasted just as long as the fuel tank. So if you drive like this, you use up equally as much fuel as you use up your tires. I kinda wanna just go shit get and try the Bugatti around the Nürburgring and do the same I did with this car. The Bugatti is kinda hard to tame though. The power is really weird and the brakes are super weak. Like the Bugatti's power is nothing, and then boom, all the power. Maybe not like that. That was not correct. Like you have power in the beginning, but like with most cars, like 80% of the cars, or maybe 90, you have a little bit of you have a strong pull in the beginning, and then as you rev higher and higher and it gets faster and faster, the power kind of gradually falls off. The engine just can't keep up with the speed the car's going. With the Bugatti, it's the complete opposite. It starts up kind of mild, fast but kind of mild. And then as you get faster, when all the 4 turbochargers and the engine just revs up in general, it just gets faster and faster and faster, and you don't really have any kind of feedback. And then the brakes are super weak and you have to stop from a super high speed. It feels really unnatural to drive at first. And it has this really short stroke, this really short rev range, where it's like burr, burr, like you have no feedback what the engine is doing. Okay, the fuel is now almost empty. I guess we finished this lap. You can really feel the rear tires are completely cooked. It's a really rubbery feeling now. It's not stiff anymore. Thankfully the front tires are still okay. Which the front tires is what does most of the steering. We've completely gone through the whole tank of fuel. I just slammed the brakes there. The rear tires are really poor condition. Oh, our left rear tires in the red. It's really worn out. Our fuel tank almost empty. Annoying fruit flies. Okay. Let's see what we did. Okay. Exit. We did 8 laps. 8 laps, and let's check how long the track is. It's 20 kilometers. 20 times 8. Well, we did 160 kilometers. 160 kilometers. The car. Awesome car. 1910. I wanna just, for comparison, try a more quote-unquote normal car. The Audi S1. Let's see what that's like in comparison. So again, we go here, fuel max. This car has only 45 liters. The other one had like 70. Check the tires. Semi-slick or street tires. Of course we'd use the semi-slicks. Okay, it sounds a lot more grunty already. Revs only to 6,000 though. Oh yeah, this car is different, that's for sure. Whoa, but it kicks. At 3k RPM it kicks a lot. I mean, this old car has a 4-wheel drive system too. Man, this is not bad. This car has like 200 or this car is over 300 horsepower or less, but it feels. This car has a turbo though. It's not naturally aspirated. I already like the brakes better in this. Whoa, 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 whoa. This car has a lot of brake pull. I'm not sure if that's the correct term. When you brake really hard and it pulls you to one or the other side. That's, you have to be aware of that. Yeah. Whoa. This car pulls really hard under heavy braking. That's dangerous. Almost made me destroy the car. Went way into the... Gotta get that under control. Maybe the suspension is just a little soft, so it does that. Let's do it here. If it's perfectly flat, it's fine. Okay, I already understand what the challenge with this car is. With this car, the challenge is not to screw up with braking. Doesn't stay stable under super heavy braking. You can definitely tell this is also a sports car. Let's see what we top out at this long straight. 184, 185. We're gonna do one full lap. And see what the time's gonna be. Up to 120, up to 130, up to 140, I want 50. It's not that bad. Oh, this car uses a lot of fuel. We haven't done even one lap and we already lost a whole bunch of fuel. But this car has only half the amount. It has only half the tank size of the R8. Which if you look into how long you can drive, the R8 was able to do about 160 kilometers, something like that. Which is not a lot, considering, so it makes sense it has a big tank. So yeah, imagine this car has a 4-cylinder with a turbo, but I'm not sure, might be a V engine of some type. But yeah, for 230 horsepower might be a 4-cylinder inline 4. Probably. Let's see what this car maxes out at downhill. $216. Let's say $215. That makes the other car around 60 kilometers an hour faster in the top end. $10.58, not that great, considering you didn't pause for anything. This car is nice too. Look, the front tires are already up to temperature. I can't imagine if you would never have this, but if you just hang on the highway, on the Autobahn for like 8 hours, and you have this turbo whine the whole time. But I mean, if you go like this, okay, maybe you're not going 70 on the Autobahn. On the Autobahn you would go like, with a car like this, if it's all clear, 160. Let's see what that is like. Okay, 160. Yeah, the turbo whine is pretty loud, even if you give it just minimal gas. If you drive for sport, it doesn't matter, but if you just want to cruise around on the highway for hours at a time to get somewhere, this is gonna get annoying. But yeah, this is considering this is a four-wheel drive. It's a small and light, nimble car. It has all the things you need. I mean, it doesn't look like it has a big screen for multimedia, but it's a driver's car. It doesn't really need that. And the turbo is what allows it to have this amount of power and this amount of... Like, to get the same power, just think back at the, like, muscle car era, when the cars had, like, V6 or V8 engines with, like, whatever, 3 to 6 liters, making, like, 200 to 300 horsepower, versus this is, like, somewhere between 2 and 3 liter, I assume, somewhere between, some around like that. Makes 240 horsepower, light, nimble car, 4 cylinders. Assuming it has 4 cylinders. Making a lot of assumptions here. One thing is clear, the handling is really, really good. The brakes are really, really strong. The ABS works perfectly. It's not as sticky and stiffy as with the R8. The power is decent. The gearing is nice. It definitely has a turbocharger. Gets around that turn at full throttle. Doesn't quite have enough power to reach 6th gear with the slight incline. Again, there's a little bit of a brake pull. You have to counteract it a bit on heavy braking. Can really catch you off guard if you don't expect it. Fourth gear, you can really pin it. Honestly, coming from a supercar to this little sports car, the transition is not that bad. And unlike the Nissan, which had 250 horsepower and it felt completely underpowered for the circuit, this feels alright. Decent high-end power. I really had bad control right there. Tried to do something, but didn't manage it. Smooth line, but I took a janky line. It really sounds like a 4-cylinder engine to me. Unlike in the Audi, where you had much more wear in the rear tires, with this car you have much more wear in the front tires, much quicker. So it might not be a quattro car after all. I'm not sure where I got that from, that this is a quattro. But it might be, I'm just not sure. I was sure it was a quattro, but now that I see how much front tire wear this has, might not be. Then again, the Audi is the R8 has the engine in the rear, in the middle, where most of the weight is concentrated, versus this has most of the weight in front where the engine is. Also, I'm braking really hard with this car, which is just not possible in the R8. So that if you really put like this, your foot down on the brake, that is probably gonna be really hard on the tires. One thing I must say, this car really isn't snappy, quote unquote. It's fast but not snappy. If you want to just kick down the gas and like see a spectacle, this car is wrong. It's not for you, it doesn't do that. It's also not that fast up this hill in the top end, 210. You will not be the king of the Autobahn with this. At least not if it's uphill. But you can... Let's see how fast we can go downhill. 220. And you see it takes a while for the power to be there. That was full kick down in second gear, it didn't do anything. Power is really linear too. It's not like some cars with a turbo where there's like nothing, and then suddenly all the power comes. We went almost through half our fuel already. We did like 2 laps. This really isn't a... If you want to drive sporty, it really isn't gonna last you very long. That's a challenging braking situation. With the brake dive and the brake pull, brake steer or whatever you call it. And you see it's third gear, full kick down. It pulls, but it's not crazy by any means. This is a slow corner, maybe let's try to do some sliding. It really doesn't do that well, sliding and with the R8 you could really power pull it through this turn. With this car, you can't really do that. What you can do is you can slam the brakes really hard. The ABS works, but it's not 100% perfect. The tires still lock up a little bit. But it's way, way better than the R8, where you just get lock up city. Honestly, this is very smooth driving car. It's not spectacular in any way, but it's consistent and smooth, except under super heavy braking. Man, that was risky. I was just about to control that. You gotta really give it to this car though. It really puts all the power it does produce down to the road. Trouble free, no drama every time. No sliding around or anything like that. You can really modulate these brakes pretty well. In a straight line anyway. To get that proper corner modulation. The suspension is a bit too soft. Okay, our fuel tank is almost empty. Which means we were able to completely empty 2 cars today, which I'm a bit proud of. No crashing. The fuel of the Audi R8, it lasted like 2 to 3 times as long, maybe even more, which is crazy. This car is really not made for endurance. You would have to refuel so often. Oh, that was way out of comfort. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Got all 4 tires slipping. I thought the run is over. We had such a good run. I thought it was over right there. Yeah, brake modulation and braking and handling in corners with a soft suspension, tricky. Then again, on the other side, on the flip side, if you have a super hard suspension, the car, yeah, it will be more predictable most of the time and more controllable and everything and in the corners. But if you make a mistake, it just snaps, like snap oversteer for example. It just happens so quick, it's almost impossible to correct. Then again, with spongy cars, it quickly happens that the car gets out of control and it just slops around on the track. And it's more luck than brain if you get it back under control. Everything has ups and downsides. One thing you have to say, the Audi R8, it also destroyed the tires completely. One tank of fuel and one set of tires. Versus this, where the tires are mostly fine after an entire tank of fuel. I mean, they were still pretty worn, the front tires, considering we only went for like 70 kilometers or something like that, or 80. But it's much, much better than with the other car. Okay, we managed a 936. For my skill level, this is not bad. I'm happy.